Namaste, my friend, and welcome to this mini course on the vagus nerve. When you saw that, you might have thought of for yourself, like, what is the vagus nerve? You never heard it? Or you're the expert on the name vagus nerve. And it doesn't matter, I'm really happy that you're here. So before we get into the vagus nerve, let me just quickly let you know what these 5 days together will look like. Today will be an introduction, and you will learn one exercise to tone the vagus nerve. Every other day you will learn another exercise, and on the last day you will also learn how you can check for yourself using no equipment, just your body, how your vagus nerve is doing. Okay, so before we go more specifically into the vagus nerve, we need to talk about the autonomic nervous system and stress in general. So you know how stress causes inflammation, how stress causes disease and generally tearing down our bodies. It's because when we perceive something as stressful, or when we're worried, or when we're fearful, and we by those thoughts and feelings place ourselves in a stress response, we activate the sympathetic nervous system. We sort of move attention away from our body, focusing on growth and repair, focusing on a well-functioning immune system, digestion. We even move away from accessing more evolved functions of our brain because we feel, our body feels that there's some danger. And even though this is just like low-level stress, say you're worried about something at work, you're fearful for the virus, you're either often worried about something in the past or something in the future, but it doesn't matter. Either way, you by your thoughts and perceptions alone, you're placing your body in a stressful, stress response. You activate the sympathetic nervous system. That means that energy and attention moves away from growth, relaxation, and more evolved functions, so that energy will be available to fight or flee. So your heart starts beating faster, you can even start sweating, your muscles are ready to sort of run or flee. You see better, you hear better, like all those more primitive functions. So what's important for your body in that situation is the immediate survival of the organism. Now, when we are in that situation for too long, obviously our health will deteriorate because we're not meant to be there. We're meant to have a stressor, and then we're meant to, cortisol should reduce, should lower, and then our parasympathetic nervous system should kick in. Now, for some, the stressors we face, they're more of a chronic daily nature, work, family, and so on, so that they stay with us for a longer period of time, and we're not really able to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. So let's talk about the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, just briefly before going in there, when we live, we are not telling our heart, like our mind doesn't tell our heart to beat, right? So it's the autonomic nervous system that takes care of functions that we don't have to think about. So our heartbeat, our breathing, our digestion. Now, the autonomic nervous system consists of actually 3 branches, 2 of which we'll cover today. One is the sympathetic, the stress and fight or flight response, and the other is the parasympathetic, rest and digest, the relaxation response. There is also the enteric nervous system that has to do with our gut, but we won't cover that today. And so all of our organs have nerves coming from our brain and our spinal cord that go into these organs. So both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So let's look at the heart, for example. So the sympathetic has nerves that extend into the heart as well as the parasympathetic. So the sympathetic nerves, they will tell the heart to breathe, to beat faster. So to get impulses to flee, so it starts to beating fast. It kind of acts like the accelerator. But the parasympathetic nerves, they act as the brake. Slow down, it's okay, take a long breath. Okay, so the vagus nerve is the longest and most important nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. And why it's the most important, it's because it's so long that it extends and moves into most of our vital organs. So it's the 10th pair of cranial nerves that begin here at the brainstem and moves down into our heart, our lungs, our liver, our spleen, our kidneys, all the way into our digestive tract. And what the vagus nerve does, like the nerves in general does, they're like a highway of communication with the brain and the organs. So the organs will send up information to the brain of how they're doing, and the brain will send information and neurotransmitters to the organs. So say, for example, we love our immune system. Sometimes it might be on overdrive and create a lot of inflammation in our body. So the vagus nerve will notice that inflammation and send information about the inflammation to our brain. The brain will respond by sending neurotransmitters to reduce and calm the inflammation. Now that is if you have a toned, strengthened, really good vagus nerve. If you have a vagus nerve that has low vagal tone, you might not notice, or there might be some issue with the communication with the brain. So it doesn't work optimally. So with these exercises that you will learn how to strengthen and tone your vagus nerve, because you want the communication to function, because when the communication functions, you can more quickly activate the rest and digest system. So another thing that the vagus nerve does, because it extends into the gut and the intestines, it can signal to your brain that you're hungry or that you're full. So in a lot of cases, or in many cases for obese people, this link of communication isn't working. So the brain never gets the signal, or it somehow gets lost along the way. So you have a stressful event. If you have a toned vagus nerve, it will more quickly sort of activate the parasympathetic rest and digest system, signaling to the heart to beat slower, that everything's okay. It's a good whirl. There's no danger here. Cells, please go ahead, repair, regenerate, let's grow, let's focus our attention on a well-functioning immune system. Let's make creative, let's find creative solutions, access the more evolved parts of our brains. All of that is not accessible when you are in the stressful state. So the irony is that while you might be worried about the virus, for example, that worry leads you to a stress situation in your body in which your immune system cannot function optimally, because it's not the immune system, although it's really important, it's not that important for your immediate survival. So you want to be able to activate the relaxation response so that energy is released to grow, to repair, to rebuild. And the vagus nerve is super important. So we want a well-toned vagus nerve, because that will lead us to greater health. I will show you now the first exercise you can do to tone your vagus nerve. Please join me on the mat. All right, so what we want is to lie down on our back, and what we'll be doing today is belly breath. So we're going to breathe through our nose all the way into our belly, letting our belly rise, hold our breath, and then release slowly. Okay, I love to do belly breath on my back. It just somehow, I feel I can access my belly more easily, but you can do it seated if that is more comfortable for you, in your chair or on your yoga mat. Everything's perfect. So I'm just gonna put my feet up on this stool because it feels good, and it's great also for the lymphatic system, a little drainage from the feet. Okay, then you lie down on your back. So nice to lie down. So take your hands and you can place them in diamond shape, like so, on the lower portion of your belly. And do a test breath. So breathe in and see if you can make your belly rise. Yeah, you got it right. Good job. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for 5, the count of 5. We're going to hold for the count of 6. And we are going to release our breath to the count of 7. Okay, so let's do it together. So inhaling to begin. So let's inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release your breath for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another time, inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time together, inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you can continue breathing like so for however long you want to. Now, the good thing with the belly breath is that, also called diaphragmatic breath, is that we have this muscle here, the lower, under our lungs. It's our diaphragm. And when we breathe into the belly, the diaphragm contracts and squeezes our organs. It's a nice little squeeze. And our lungs are able to fill up with air also into the lower parts of the lungs. So that's an added bonus. So this belly breath just really activates our parasympathetic nervous system, tones our vagus nerve, and just makes us feel really peaceful and calm. I hope you enjoyed the exercise, and I'll see you soon for another one. Namaste, my friend.
Namaste, my friend. Happy Jack here. I trust you enjoyed this video. Have you ever considered getting certified as a yoga teacher? I've created a free training video that explains the 5 most important factors when you're choosing a yoga school to study with. Now, if you're already a yoga teacher or you're curious about becoming one, you're going to love this. To get access to the free training, just click the link in the description below. Namaste.